Namaste. Welcome back, beautiful souls, to your tarot card of the year readings. And this reading is for the fifth arcanum, the Hierophant. And as always, lots to reflect upon the Taurus type of energy. I have chosen tarot, magical nature tarot for this reading, for its earthy and extremely respectful of the earth connected qualities. Also, we want to look at the connection here to the planet of Venus and the energy of that planet in, I want to say, the luxuriousness of this particular card. And then everything else that goes with that, the reduction, the condensation of numbers, the expansion of numbers, and how that is all going to fit in with the turning of the wheel. Hello, Mary Beth. So how does the Hierophant respond to that? Well, I think of certain Hierophant types. So there are all kinds of shamanic type leaders, leaders of sacred circles who honor the four directions, who open sacred circle with tremendous reverence. And so in that way, I kind of feel like the Hierophant in the year of the wheel takes on that sacred energy and takes it quite seriously. That this turning of the wheel is something to be honored, and I kind of like that, and I feel that I haven't got the extra guidebook yet for this deck. I have ordered it. Very intrigued with this collage work, with the just overall sacred energy and respect, reciprocity for the planet and all of its beings, including the plants and the rocks. And so let's go ahead with this reading for the fifth arcanum on the 12th day of January 2026. I just had this thought, wondering what if you had the fifth arcanum as your card of the year and your sun sign, moon or even ascendant was Taurus, how powerful that would be. These cards shuffle. They shuffle beautifully. They're kind of, they're very energetic, let's just say that. I expect the Hierophant. Let's start with Earth. I had this idea for some reason with the idea of the Hierophant being a conduit for messages, that the Swords pile might also be a wonderful place to find the Hierophant card. So we'll see. And I will, I think, later this month, do some sort of pre-recorded video with this deck. I'm feeling like it deserves a little more time and attention, and I would love to share my insights with you. So the court cards in this deck, the Apprentice would be the equivalent of the Knights, and the Ancestors. So the Ancestor links to the energy of the Queens. And I kind of like that the bloodline is carried through the queens. Look at that beautiful moon card. The mentors are the kings. It's just a lovely, lovely deck. Sorry, just taking my time. Seekers are pages. Wow, that's really unexpected, that the Hierophant would be in the fire pile. Why? Why does the Hierophant need to be in the fire pile? Unless, of course, I passed it over. I need to think about this. You in working with the Hierophant for 2026. Are called to do something learn something, teach something. I'm really feeling that the conduit energy, that learning to listen clearly, to be that open channel of communication, translator of information, for those who are not able to hear it clearly, to receive it, is also really important. Yeah, okay. So, and right next to the Magician card, right next to the number 1 card. Okay. And you're the top of the pile, so no wraparound in this one. Hello, Michael. Okay, so let's do this reading. Placing the Hierophant at the center, and then 10 cards around. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, Magician, 7 of Wands, and 7 of Pentacles. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Mm-hmm. 11th card is 4 of Wands. It's interesting. Michael, I'm not doing personal readings right at this time. I am doing readings for your tarot card of the year. And this is a reading for those with Taurus in their astrology, or the number 5 as their card for 2026. Okay, so your first card, number 1 card, I think this is also a very positive sign, in that I'm sure you're familiar with the gesture that the magician holds in the as above, so below, one wand up and one of the other elements down, or the hand down to the ground, connecting as above to so below. There is a tremendous resourcefulness, and while the magician is connected to the planet of Mercury, there certainly is an action of doingness, And so I would say that you have to think about the available resources. There's something about this verb think, consideration. And then I tend to want to always honor Mercury, the healer, and that in embracing the Hierophant for 2026, this is an important part of your role as healer, or the way that you introduce healing to clients, the way that you introduce even the tarot as a tool to self-reflect and ultimately heal. So that's something that feels kind of important. Kind of unnerving. So this was in the fire pile. We do have 2 sevens showing up here. 7 of Pentacles is the 3rd card. 7 of Wands is the 2nd card. And these cards, while some of them look a little different, seem to embody very much the intention of the art of Pamela Coleman Smith. So there's a sense of defensiveness for sure here in the 7 of Wands, but 2 sevens together side by side right away. 1, 7, 7. And I said 1 is Mercury and 7 is Venus. They sit across from each other on the trio of life. Hode balances Netzach. And yet there's this kind of tug towards Netzach in fire and in earth. And 7 as Venus, really amplifying as well the energy of the Hierophant. So I think there is a message here for you of making sure that the Venusian tendencies, the worldly tendencies, the sensorial tendencies are balanced by clear thought and the giving yourself enough space to make good choices. And you as a disseminator of information, as a translator. I want to also caution careful thought and reflection in regards to finances and money, because that's very much a part of all of this. And you could go in a whole bunch of directions here, and I'm thinking, healers, tarot readers, people who do this kind of work, there's one school of thought that you shouldn't charge for your work, that you are doing a holistic healing service that is very much connected to spirit, and you can't charge for that. So there's that thought, school of thought. There is also antagonistic souls who don't agree with this kind of work as significant and helpful and valid even. And so I'm wondering if you're going to really have a hard time reconciling the spiritual with the material. And the magician makes that attempt to reconcile the spiritual with the material in the highest frequency of the magician, of course. And the Hierophant, I'm kind of really drawn to this whole idea of as above, so below, one arm up. So I want you to really take on that gesture. It can be really helpful. Sorry, I'm about to sneeze. Trying not to. Raising one arm above and pointing the other one down to the earth. And even making the gesture of prana, the gesture of benevolence, the gesture of the Hierophant. And when I say the gesture of prana, prana mudra is one that can help to move energy through the body. And in this card, do you see that gesture? Let me just have a closer look. No, it appears as if in the left hand an orb is being held, and I can't really see what's being held in the right hand. I could look it up, but I'm not going to take the time right now. I do have the online guide open. It almost looks like, and it does look like a female popess as well too, looking at the diagram here, but that's neither here nor there, but it does really beautifully connect to the energy of Venus. So this feels important, like an important lesson, and that is how are you going to reconcile? How are you going to make new steps forward in your understanding and the way that you share your spiritual teachings and experiences with those around you, with yourself even. And I feel that Seven of Pentacles is very receptive, and there is no, the hands are not moving. There is what is the word? A complete understanding of how important it is to step back and to not micromanage everything, to be a good observer, to be a good participant, and to indeed observe the interaction of everything that is around you and how one affects the other and how the elements affect all of those things as they shift. And I think the Seven of Pentacles fits so beautifully in with the energy of the wheel. All right, so here's your Ancestor of Cups card. So this is water of water. Queen of water, if you will. And you have both confrontation cards in the suit of fire. Remember that this was in the suit of fire unexpectedly. Apprentice of Cups, so that's the Knight of Cups. So you've got two cup. In this deck, they're called coven cards, court cards. And so we want to look at the importance of the element of water in aspects of yourself that you will be developing through this year and tapping into. Would not surprise me if an Ace of Cups is there. And then you have a 5. So this challenge of fire between these two important court cards. So 5s really help us to make progress. They are indeed challenge cards, obstacle cards. They present us with situations where where due consideration is absolutely necessary. And I would say that it connects, of course, to the Hierophant itself and the wisdom that we can gain. So the deeper understanding of the minor 5s can come through that which the Hierophant channels for us. So I think it's really important to know that the greatest of teachings will come through the element of fire. Remember, all of this sat in that pile of drive and fire. Also creativity, but there certainly is something to do here, and I kind of want to stick with what I said at the beginning, and that is how are you going to find greater ease, and I did use the word reconcile, the verb reconcile, with the spiritual and the material. And that seems like really, you have some wonderful court cards here to help you with that. The apprentice of water is sitting in what looks like a big tub in a spa, and this is a wonderful place to kind of, I'm thinking of flotation. I've never been to a flotation tank, a flotation place, and that is something that certainly I want to try at one time. I don't know as long as it was open and not, I couldn't deal with the claustrophobia, but when we, and this is another connection for you. So with all of the Venusian energy that is around here, it is important to practice sensory deprivation. So taking away one sense, or the opposite is to really focus on how you are responding to the senses. The knight, the apprentice of water, practices, journeys, and intentionally focuses on that element to better understand who they are. And with the ancestor of water there, this is there's something going on here. So we are journeying back to the water, journeying back to the water. This makes me think of Mother. Wonder if the Chariot's going to show up here. Back to a place, back to the beginning. What is your relationship with water? It seems that these water questions certainly balance and are going to help, not overstimulate, create excessive fire with the placement of this group of cards in the cut. Ace of water. Okay, so we have 5 of water and 5 of fire. Ace of water. Really nice to see that these 5s are contrasting suits, water and fire. That this is important in this journey, with these 2 5s, to reflect upon the challenges of both our divine feminine and our divine masculine selves. How does the 5 of fire support the 5 of cups? Well, it's certainly, I think it helps us to actually make the decision or the actions that need to be taken to journey forward and to move through this challenges. To say that this sadness, grief, loss, emotional shift that you are feeling at this time has a much higher purpose, and it is time to act upon these feelings. Love that this is showing up with the Queen and the Knight and the Ace of Cups. What is your Holy Grail? What would you like to see on the other side? Should you find the strength to move through this? Can you paint it? Can you draw it? Can you speak it? Can you go into a meditation and see it? Can you write a letter to your divine self? Getting really clear about this information. Can you channel this information yourself? Or do you need to seek out another to help you paint this picture? The wheel and the 5s feel very much in sync, that these challenges are going to help you to process, indeed to move forward. And if you were thinking of going, I don't know, for me it's always going to the ashram That is the first thing I think of when I'm ready to, when I need support in moving through with my greatest changes. Stepping out of this, the confusion of this material world, to go and seek support from Spirit. It's easier to remove oneself. It's harder to do it while you are in the midst of this world. And yet that may not be possible for everyone, right? That's something that apologize. I apologize if the mics have been conflicting. Might not be possible for everyone. Seeker of Cups. And Seeker of Wands. So again, this is a brilliant reading. Love how the candlelight is on these two seekers here. Seekers as pages, as new beginnings. You started with a 1, you end with 2 seekers. So you have this opportunity here for new understanding. And additionally, you have also, again, a fire and water energy harmonizing each other. With 2 seekers showing up and 5 being your card for 2026, I would strongly suggest some sort of learning and schooling is part of this journey, that you will be you will be open to receiving new information, new lessons, new ways of thinking and processing things. There's something about, it could be as, and I'll use the word mundane, as a communication course. This certainly could speak to learning a new language. And you can also take that suggestion quite metaphorically. The Hierophant energy is certainly going to help navigate the 5 of Wands, 5 of Cups situation. So the challenges that are presented. And also I want to respond to particularly the 7 of Wands, that you may feel that everything is okay as it is, and that it's not worth stirring the pot. But I want to say that you are here in this 5 energy to indeed stir the pot. And it is likely that if you don't stir the pot yourself, that there will be others to stir it for you. You may be curious about, when I mentioned schooling, you may have been curious about learning something for some time, depending on your age. Sometimes these seekers, when they show up, they take us back to something that we didn't have the finances for, we didn't have the time to study in the past. Also, so you have 1 magician and 2 pages here, and lots of water energy. So this feels like it will be really, really important to allow yourself to be guided. When you are feeling your back go up, you know, because you want to take charge and you want to know where you're going, and it's very hard to release control, that you make space for that. And it is highly possible that that is one of the biggest lessons this year is for you, is to learning to release control and be in the flow of life. And that flow, again, it's going to extend to your perception, even things like clairaudience. I mean, perception is such a big word, but the Hierophant is very good at seeing a bigger picture than most of us are. So, let the water flow and learn to trust in signs and symbols, and honor those moments when you feel guided. Ask yourself, what is something I can do to release control? Something small. And use that symbolically as a first step forward in this year of wisdom. It feels like very much a year of wisdom. So thank you. Thank you for being here. And I will look forward to your feedback to this reading. Namaste.